are in this plane, because without it, we wouldn't understand polar opposites like day or night, happiness or sadness. Without that, we couldn't elevate our consciousness, our awareness through that feat we call experiences. So that's one part. And people always look at a savior to save them, but actually nobody's here to save you but you. The world does not get better.
Welcome, guys, to my show. So today I have a really powerful, interesting woman with me here. She is a author and always good to talk with her. So I definitely feel the energy. It's always really, really nice. Her book has the name Becoming Authentically. So, and about this, we talk about today in the video about consciousness and other really interesting stuff. So make sure you stay until the end. I would say we start directly into it with the question, who are you? Who are you?
Hey, Felix, thank you so much for having me on your show, first of all. I love your energy and your zest for life. You've got that really vivacious, that really bubbly nature. Who am
Yeah,
I?
nice to
Well,
hear. Nice to hear.
I'm in this lifetime, I'm Brigitte Visser. Like many of you, like many of your viewers, and like yourself, we've been through our experiences, our own kind of trauma. Life's been a roller coaster ride.
Yeah.
Full of sweet experiences, but also spicy experiences. Yeah, I am. I've got one foot in the corporate world and one foot in the spiritual realm. So I'm a divine channel, I'm a light language healer, and what you would call a soul empowerment coach. And it's all about empowering ourselves back to the very grid of our existence, finding out who we are and what our purpose is in life, because everyone's purpose is different. But ultimately,
Yeah,
it's all
exactly.
about returning to a love for ourselves and each other. The fact that we are divine alchemists. Yes.
Yeah,
So that's
yeah.
me in a nutshell.
Yeah, that's a really, really good explanation. I think it's always difficult to define how you are, right? So it's not a so simple question when you want explain it in terms in spirituality, for example. So you can just say, yeah, I'm Felix, I'm Brigitta, yeah, I'm 28 years old. I just live there and there. So, there's much more. And also
Well,
about that. So I want to talk with you today because, yeah, a lot is going on now in the world. And
mm,
yeah, it's totally crazy. So, and I also just, for you listeners, I just wrote me some questions down. But as you know, I always go with the flow on my channel because I think, yeah, everything comes from the divine or universe or data, how you want to call it. Birgitta can say probably also something to that, but when you are truly in the here and the now, then you just get the information from
yeah.
the data or consciousness, or how you would define that.
Can I just backpedal a little bit?
Yeah,
Because
definitely, definitely. Sometimes
we're talking.
I'm all over the place, so
No,
just
no, 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 not at all,
no,
not at
no.
all, Felix. But you were talking about the world that we live in, everything that's going on, the transformations that, the worldly transformation that we find ourselves in. But it's not just the world, it's us as individuals, so to speak, although we are part of the collective that are going through huge transformations because we have to. We cannot remain as we are. So the fact that many people will have old wounds resurfacing, it's merely that it's asking to be healed. I always say, rather than playing whack-a-mole with your emotions, allow for it to surface and reevaluate your life. Ask why this is requesting healing and why this triggers you and how you can heal from that experience. Because as I said earlier, life is merely a return to love, nothing more, nothing less. And when we say love, it's all about the acceptance of anything that you have been through and hugging it out with yourself and healing in whichever shape, shape, way or form you want, whatever agrees with your spirit. But as far as the world goes, everything is falling apart. But then it's all been an illusion. As the Ascended Master Saint Germain always says, we live in an upside down world, or is it actually the right way up? No, everything that we believe to be true, is that really true? Everything that's been fed to us by the media, the conglomerate, as I call it, is that really truth? Because so much is illusion. And yet people believe that because that's what keeps them trapped within this dogma, within this artificial created matrix. People have different opinions about politics and you name it. That's called that divide. It doesn't matter what you believe. We're all at different levels of consciousness, but accept one another rather than letting the ego take control, being really opinionated, getting frustrated. No, that's this thing with the ego. Actually, the ego and duality are in this plane because without it, we wouldn't understand polar opposites like day or night, happiness or sadness. Without that, we couldn't elevate our consciousness, our awareness through that feat we call experiences. So that's one part. And people always look at a savior to save them, but actually nobody's here to save you but you. The world does not get better, the world, let's put it this way, Felix, the world gets better from the inside out. Yeah, you have to do the work. It starts with you. That's the main thing. And once you change within, your outer will also start to change. When you light that spark within, that inspiration, you in turn help inspire other people. That's the way it works. So that's that part on the world.
Yeah. Wonderful explained. Yeah, when we are anyway now on that topic, I would say just go with the flow, because you mentioned something really important that I see right now in the world. So as Iceman Wim Hof, maybe you know him.
Yes,
So
I do
he
know
said
him. I love
also
him.
once, yeah, he is incredible. So he said also once, the world is sick and I heal it. And you said something with healing, and I saw also now the last months I had really, really difficult times, really challenging times. But as we know, we make them always ourselves. Always. As you said also, you are the creator of your life, and you can also heal yourself. And it starts with you. It starts with your inside.
Yes.
It doesn't matter what is on the outside. It's always how you react on it. But anyway, what I wanted to say on this whole healing journey, we can start somewhere. I don't know, some people are maybe sometimes overwhelmed with everything, what's going on in the world and what's going on in themselves. And for example, I don't know, when you don't have a psychotherapist right now, but you just feel, hey, there's so much things in you so are going on, and you have to also fight with yourself. And what do you would give these people as advice where they can start to heal themselves, so to get a healthier version of themselves?
Acceptance. As I said, acceptance is the most important part. Once you accept it, once you accept how you feel or whatever you're going through, then only can you start to heal. And however you decide to heal, that is entirely up to you, because it's your journey, it's your experience. But never remain stagnant within what you would call that victimhood, or remain within that experience, because does it serve you? If it does, then that's great, but I very much doubt it. Are you not deserving of a better life? That's the one thing my guides always say. Are you not deserving of a better life? Well, what are you going to do about it then? Right? Nothing happens by magic, Felix. You can't, what do you think? There's a fairy godmother that's just going to wave her magic wand? No. If you want to change your life, you've got to get off that couch and do the work. How else are you going to learn from your experiences? And I understand everybody goes through different degrees of trauma or pain. I've been through a lot of trauma in my life. And even though I was abused by a friend of the family when I was like 10, 11 years old, I lost my dad when I was 14. I was starving myself. I was bullied at school because I was super skinny and I'm very, very tall. I was assaulted in the modeling industry. I had my stint with drugs and, suffered a blackout after my stepdad passed away from cancer. Yeah, and I had dysfunctional relationships because I wasn't healing. And that's the one key thing I always say. Yeah. One bit of trauma, Felix, creates another bit of trauma unless you come to that place of acceptance where you're like, you know what? I want to change my life. I want to get better. Yeah. And that is such a key component. And people have always asked me, how can you forgive those from your past? And I always say, how can I not? I've had to learn to forgive myself because my coping mechanisms were always that I worked like an idiot, crazy hours, crazy job. I had, jobs left, right, and center wherever I traveled the world. And but that was me, and I was a pro at starving myself. And people would say, oh, you've got a really fast metabolism, don't you? And I was like, yeah, I do. That was actually a blatant lie, but that was the only way I knew how, because that was that I could control. It took me until in my 40s I did bouts of healing before that, but it really took me well into my 40s to eat properly. And it's okay. I don't have that shame or that fear label or all these red or negative emotions, as I call them. They've long dissipated because in society, we are embedded with fear. Oh, you can't do this, you can't do that. Oh, but you've done this. And then there's that shame. It's like me, I was afraid to hurt people. But at the end of the day, what I became was a doormat, a people pleaser. But who was I hurting in the end? Only me.
Yeah. It's always like that. So that's sometimes we make ourselves, our lives more hard as it is. It's not that hard, and somewhere we have to start, right? But now I have also other question in mind. So we talk now also about consciousness, healing, and that stuff. I think that's also really deep. And when you start to develop yourself one time, you never want stop again. So I'm not sure. I always ask myself, so hey, when I don't make this decision in my life back, so because I have also a similar story like you, so or maybe some events was similar, also bullied in school, and with 14 also my dad was dying on Christmas, and so because he was alcoholic. So, and I mean, nothing in life happens with coincidence, right? And I think also especially the people, I don't want to say like us, because everyone is individual, right? But doesn't matter what you experience in your past, it don't has to be your future, right? Because you always can decide in the here and the now what you make now with your life and what you make with this experience you experienced in the past. But sometimes it's really difficult, right? Because I have also sometimes this feelings. I just sit at home and I don't know what to do anymore, and just in a so deep dark hole, and or I'm not sure how can I describe it, but that probably also. So everyone knows that. So I can't imagine that there is someone who is completely, in quotes, enlightened. So and never have a bad day, in quotes, or this really, really negative feelings. But sometimes you don't know exactly where to start, and sometimes you also don't understand yourself, why you have that habit you have right now. So how you handle that? So by the way.
Well, I mean, it's not like I came with a little guidebook around my neck when I incarnated. Like,
This would be
this is
funny,
what's
but
happening.
maybe also boring.
What the A to Z of how to experience life. But no, I didn't come with that. I mean, it's been sometimes one step forward, two steps back. That's just the way it was. But I've always soldiered on. I've never bowed down to defeat. But that is me. You know, for everything that I went through, I studied many different healing modalities, and I've had to hit rock bottom several times. And one of the first times was in 2009 when my ex was deported back to the US because he was held for ransom by the Crips in Holland, and because he'd stolen from them because he was a part-time crack addict. And I'd never seen someone. Yeah, it was terrible. His hands and crack hands, and he pawned my stuff. And he did want to get better, but he had so many inner demons that he had to relinquish, that he had to come to that term of acceptance and heal from that. And it took him many years after that. He's doing very well, by the way, now. He really is. It's amazing to see that. But
that's nice to hear.
Yes, but at the time, I helped the police. I did. And my mom got me out of the UK within the space of several days. And I went back to the UK because I rented a place there. I was still working for an oil and gas company. And so I saved his life. And then I got a call and was the leader of the Crips in Holland. And he said, if I ever find you, I'm going to kill you. And that sent me reeling over the edge. But also the fact that he did say to me, if I ever find your ex, he's like, you will never find him because he'll be dead in a ditch somewhere. So that really shook me to my core. That's when I took a whole box of what you call ibuprofens. And I just was like, I can't really be bothered anymore. A very lame attempt at my life. But the next day, my mom just said to me, Brigitte, why didn't you go and see a counselor? I did go see a counselor. That was the start of my holistic journey, because when I went to see the counselor, she listened to my whole story for the hour. And then she just said to me, she looked at me and she's like, Brigitte, you're a very strong person. You'll be fine. I walked out that door, Felix, and I was just like, I was so deflated. But I had to figure out what to do next. And I found a Reiki healer, and she was amazing. Amazing. Yeah. At the time. And I also studied level 1 and level 2 under her, not in the space of a weekend, but I had to do all the self-healing and the case studies, and report back to her. So it took about 1.5 years, which is the way it should be. And from that point on, I commenced studying many healing modalities, because that's what my soul craved, that the knowledge, the wisdom, and from becoming a meditation teacher to studying holistic nutrition, EFT, the emotional freedom technique, where you tap out the emotions, the emotions out of the experience, so that the next time when you talk about it, you're okay. Very, very powerful technique. And I studied angelic Reiki as well, many other healing modalities. But I really, I love that. And I taught Reiki out when I was in St. Petersburg several years later, because I did my master's out there. I taught meditative art, where I gave a meditation and then people would paint, and I would explain to them their painting and what it meant at that stage in their life. I did pendulum workshops. I really, really enjoyed that, actually. It also helped me. But just because we go through one experience doesn't mean we're out of the woods yet, because you will always be thrown into something else. Several years later, that's exactly what happened, where I had an ex that was totally fixated on me, like obsessive. The one thing that I wouldn't call it a mistake, it was just an experience, and I had to learn from that, is that when we are in a relationship with someone, and it doesn't even matter if it doesn't matter what kind of relationship that is, it could be family, friends, whatever. But the point is, when something is done, when we vibrate at different levels of consciousness, or we don't sing from the same hymn sheet anymore, and we know it's time to move on. People don't always move on because people like to fix others, or they try and mold them, to the liking of their own image. And it's like when it's like, you cannot do this, you cannot do that. Love is our essence, and we should learn to love one another unconditionally, to accept one
Love
another.
is a good word. Love
We
is a really
are.
good word.
Yeah, but it's like, and if you're not on that same level anymore, it's like, just take a deep bow in gratitude and let one another go. But if you don't, and this is the thing that I did, I just clung on, and it was just like I was stumping their growth, but I was also stumping my own growth. And I just didn't see it at the time, because it was really like, and I know many viewers will agree, it's like, if we want to stay with this person because, do we deserve any better? Does this person treat me right? Am I truly happy within myself? It's not about if the other person makes you happy. It's what makes you happy. Yeah. When you are with someone, that happiness should just be shared, but it's not like you say, oh, well, this person makes me happy. No, no, no. You make yourself happy. So
Yeah, always.
yeah, so that's the thing about relationships. And I really, really had to learn that the hard way, because I was always looking for jobs for them. I was bending over backwards to try and help them out with anything. I paid their bills as well. And it was like, you could put me in the desert, because I've traveled the world. I've moved 50, I'm nearly 50. I've moved more times than my age. And it's like, I have that attitude that wherever I go, I will find work. And I always have, because that's the law of attraction, right? What you put out there, you kind of manifest.
The law of attraction is also really, really interesting.
Yeah.
So, but what I heard out now, what's really, really important for healing is acceptance and love. Love is also really, really big topic, and always look into yourself and get always all day, so not all day, but for example, one time in a day, get more connected with your inner self, with your
Yes.
higher self, with your higher guidance, and just love yourself. But it's not always so easy. So just love yourself. Some
but it's not.
maybe they say just love. They say,
but there's so many components to that, Felix. It's like, be kind to yourself, be gentle with yourself, have compassion with yourself. That's what our experience should teach us, rather than archiving all these experiences, these hurt emotions within the archives of our mind. Because when we go into quantum physics, when we talk about the little hypothalamus, the little factory up there that regulates everything, so that's what I call the archives of the mind. And some people's minds are overloaded completely. It's like a complete junkyard up there, because they're carrying all these traumatic or these unhealed experiences. It's a very black and white example, but when we declutter our home, we declutter our mind. Do you see what I'm getting at? So if we were to do that, so if we were to heal up, if we were to come to that place of acceptance and say, you know what, I actually want to change my life. What am I going to do about it? And you have the power. The thing is, what people do, they give their power away so freely, rather than empowering themselves.
I think also asking the right questions. I hear now from, just asking the right questions to yourself. But anyway, there comes then also, I think, anyway, always when you have one answer, there comes 3 new questions. So, and then you come deeper and deeper in this rabbit hole. Doesn't matter if it's spirituality or personal development or whatever, but it's always when you ask yourself the right questions, or ask the questions to your spirit guides or to your higher self. By the way, I think you write also something about that in your book, right? Becoming authentically.
Yeah, we ask for signs. So
Yeah.
when we ask for help, when I asked the universe for help, where I was in that, you know, dysfunctional relationship in Florida, I
Yeah.
did. I was on the floor crying so hard because I was sitting in the dark of my own home because he refused to return my keys. And I was too scared to change the locks. I was really in that fear and flight mode, so to speak. And it just, I was so deeply unhappy within myself that I was screaming at the universe, at my guides for help. And I did get that breadcrumb because I think I was so exasperated. And yes, I did. To get away from him, because he was living 2 doors down, I bought another place and I sold the home that I really, really loved. And the other home was a bit of a money pit. But I got the little breadcrumb in the form of combo from my sister, who I wasn't in touch with for a long time, but she's also turned her life around now, as well as her husband recently. So it's quite amazing. But
it's always nice. Sorry that I interrupt you, but it's always nice to hear, you know, stories from people that are changing their lives a lot, and
I know.
you know, to get this transformation. And also when you coach people, to just see the transformation, or when they read a book, when they read, for example, your book, and they say, then, oh damn, this was a really, really good book. I implemented some things and it changed completely my life. That's always really, really good. So, but I just wanted to say this. So.
But you know what? I'm still a work in progress. We all are. But the point is, that little breadcrumb that was thrown on my path was in the form of kambo, and kambo is a shamanic medicine. It's frog medicine, as I call it, frog ceremony, and where you're with the shaman, and they either burn 4 points in your arm or your leg, and then they what happens. I mean, there's millions of these frogs in the Amazonian forest, and they just scrape the poison from the monkey tree frog, and they put the poison on these points, on the burnt points on your skin, and you purge, because it's very, very physical, and very, very physical, and you have to drink 2 liters of water. And you also go up and down the toilet, and you know, the shaman just goes with you because he's so used to it. And very, very physical. And the first time it took me about 4 hours. And the reason for that is because he said my ego was battling me so hard, because I was so conditioned that it was very difficult to get through. But I did it, and I was so clear, I was so focused after that. I made a whole bucket list of things that I wanted to do, and I stuck it on my fridge. Nice. And I promised, like my stepdad when he passed away in 2000, that I would start running for cancer, you know, and charities. I didn't, but I started doing that in 2016. I did. I was running quite a lot, and I so loved it. I loved it. I went skydiving because I have a fear of heights. Yeah, it must be crazy. But I did. Oh my gosh, I jumped out of that plane.
She made it.
I did.
Applause for Brigitte.
I did. You know, there were other things, but like 2 weeks later, like the universe or my guides just kicked me out the house, and I went to this fair. And I met my former mentor, Alania Starhawk, there. She is an Akashic record healer. And so she walks people through their past lives that require, and these are aspects that require healing. With my ex, it was very needy, and I had this fear of losing me. And he'd also lost his mom, bless his cotton socks. You know, he fell into a depression. He was clinging on to me because he just didn't know how to deal with it. Going back to a past life, he had poisoned me, and he had slowly poisoned me over months, and he was after my money at the time. But funnily enough, it was really weird, because in this lifetime I suffered from terrible stomach issues, and I lost so much weight, couldn't eat properly at all because everything just came out. But that had to do with that past life where he poisoned me with an arsenic, and I actually died from it. And so I did tell him in this lifetime. I did tell him. I told him, and he was just laughing. He's like, no way. But what happened actually after that session with Alania,
Yeah.
the energy changed completely because that aspect had been healed. And he left me in peace and started to sort out his own life. And I could continue with mine. I had several more healing sessions, and I learned to channel from Alania through a workshop. And yeah, that was very, very powerful for me. This one in Florida is doing very, very well now as well. And he said to me not too long ago, he's like, I cannot thank you enough for having been a part of my life. He's like, yes, I messed up. He's like, but I've grown so much now because of you. You know, and the experience.
That's always so nice. That feeling. I also personally believe to 100% that we humans, it depends on how spiritually developed you are. I just think about how I say it now. Sometimes it's really difficult when you want to explain something that you can't explain to 100% in words. So, and this is also what I mean. Sometimes you just have feelings that you can't explain it. Now I lost. Now I lost
Your
topic.
thoughts.
So my thoughts, I just lost them. But I also don't cut it out because, you know, I just want bring a bit more realness again in social media. So because we anyway have enough fake shit, right? So
It's okay. You can suffer from a brain freeze.
Yeah, that's okay. That's okay. Anyway, the whole world suffers, but we can heal it. No, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure again how I was coming now on the topic feelings. Do you remember what you said the last time?
Last time, what last time?
Last time, also now when you spoke, when you talked.
So you know that I said that the energy had changed, like he's doing very well now. But I want to add this to that. He appreciated having me in his life. He messed up. Yes, he did mess up. But
sometimes you all mess up.
Yeah, but it's okay. But I always say we're all beautiful reflections of one another. We're all teachers of one another in a way.
Yeah.
And if we look at it, if we look at everything from a different perspective, then there is no need for that bitterness. Absolutely not, regardless of what you may have been through. And I think that can only come over time once you release the experiences, you know, once you heal from them. When you're stuck in the middle of it, it looks a little bit different than when you're completely out of it.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
Yeah, and Felix, would I have my life any other way? No. No.
Yeah, no. I always say also, and the good man, a good coach, mentor, said this to me. So you are there where you are right now, on the right place, completely on the right place to go where you want to go. It's the universe or yourself, or call it how you want. So maybe there are also different sources of energy that helps you, the divine, your spirit guides, all the energy here, yourself. You are your own universe. So that's so damn interesting when you just go one time in this rabbit hole. So of this whole healing journey. Damn, yeah.
But you know what helps people, and I will. What works for me is meditation, and that's something that I learned when I was out in India back in 2007. I was in the Art of Living Center, and it's the art of the breath, because we breathe so shallow, Felix. When we breathe, it's like from the chest, not all the way down from the stomach, but so we shallow breathe. Lord Sananda, who was Jesus Christ in one of his lifetimes, Lord Sananda originates from Venus. Call it what you want, the planet of love, whatever. Yes, but Jesus Christ was all about unconditional love. But
all right, I hope you enjoyed that episode so far. this was part 1, and part 2 you find, of course, also on my channel. So when you say, hey, you really had valuable insights, let me know definitely in the comments. I make sure I read as much comments and respond to each of you, as long as it's not a million, who knows. So, but yeah, as so far as you enjoyed this episode, share it with your friends, hit the thumbs up. It would be really, really nice. It would mean a lot to me. And also for you, I make every second Sunday a how to flow journal session. It's completely for free. So no, you have to pay something, your time. So you value time and your commitment. Your commitment is really, really important. And I developed a way to write journaling, and you have the definitely a lot of benefits why you should journal. So for example, for reflection and for just growing much more, as human in mind, body, and soul, right? So, and a lot of more benefits you have when you journal. And to that, I want to invite you. I put all the links down in the video. The website comes soon, and when you want more information, then join my Telegram info channel. There I post also when I release new YouTube videos, when I make, for example, the how to flow journal session every Sunday in the evening. Then I send in there the Zoom link where we meet us together. And also the community aspect, we support each other, right? So, and community is more important than ever. The right community, that supports you to, yeah, come faster to your goal, right? So, and even more important, to enjoy the way to your goals. And yeah, I personally felt it with me, with myself, that community is one of the most important things. The right community, you know, for all your life areas, right? Right? Because yeah, we have different life areas. So, and health is one of them, right? Right? So, yeah, make sure you check this out. And now I wish you much enjoyment and learnings and fun and love to observe the part 2 from my conversation with Brigitta. And now, see you in the next one.